you'd like.
Peter, you ready? Yes. All righty. Good morning, everyone. It's 9:03. We will call this meeting to order. Can you do roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mayor Alvaro Ariola.
He should be here in the next few minutes.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem James DeRoos.
Here.
Councilman J.P. Sanchez. Councilwoman Ernestina Martinez.
Present.
Councilman Jesus Lopez Jr.
Present.
Councilman Randy Quinones.
Here.
Councilwoman Carmen Gutierrez. Mayor Pro Tem, you do have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Please stand and join me for the pledges. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All righty. We're going to go straight to 4A, budget work session. Ms. Burkhound, I guess I'll turn it over to you to start.
Yes, this morning, good morning, everyone. This morning we have our budget work session for you. We have Flavio, who is going to walk us through the budget book that you have in front of you. And Linda and Roxy are here, as well as Luis. All of us worked diligently with all of these division managers and directors to put this book together. There is hopefully nothing that we have left out that you won't have a detail on, especially when it comes to capital request. All of that is in this book, and it's probably more information than anyone ever wanted. But we certainly want to provide full transparency as we move forward. So I will gladly hand this over to Flavio.
Morning. Morning, Council. Okay. Morning, Council.
Peter, if we can have some audio adjustments from the back, thank you.
Morning. There we go. All right. Morning, Council, Mayor Pro Tem, Council members, City Manager. Yes, my name is Flavio Aguilar, Budget Analyst for the City of Del Rio, and today we present to you our proposed budget for fiscal year 2025-2026. I'd like to also thank a lot of staff that put this together. During the week, we also had finance and accounting staff help prepare these budget books. Sylvia Garza, Ceci Zapata, and Dora Garcia all was available to help put this binder together and be able to present it today. I appreciate your time in joining us this morning. And to start us off, on your budget book, when you open it, you'll have our 2025-6 budget highlights. Here we have a bullet point list going over what we've done during this year, including starting off with the estimated year fund balance on projections, keeping the fund balance policy of the 5-month reserve and added a 3-month reserve for comparison purposes. From there, we also created new forms during our budget workshop. New forms included purpose being to provide budget transparency and clear, precise understanding of what each division and department are requesting to operate their divisions. Those forms included capital improvement plan, performance budget, travel and education, capital assets, and the fee schedule that was adopted. You'll see those tabs, most of those forms under your general fund, your special revenue fund, your enterprise fund, your internal service funds. Items that are still preparing to be worked on are neighborhood services will be split between the two divisions, code enforcement and health. Water, wastewater, gas department will be split into two budgets, operations and admin, to be able to capture the true operational costs. Items that are being completed this fiscal year are Fund 780, fixed capital assets are being closed, and now fixed assets are being budgeted within each of the general fund department divisions, enterprise department divisions, and then Fund 500 CIP property funds are now being budgeted within each fund and not lumped together as a full governmental funds, meaning government funds are still going to be under the 500, 101, 200. Those are included in the 500 as a CIP, while enterprise funds are going to be within their respective funds for CIP projects. CIP has been revamped for the next 5 years with a goal of a 20-year plan for future years. Transfer calculations formulas are more accurate to what is being reflected for admin services, building services, fleet, technology, any services that these funds provide each other. Included in this budget is a one-time stipend for $1,200 to the employees. Mind you, this one-time stipend is included in our budget projections right now, but also will be brought up at a later date when to council for approval as an official ordinance in the fall. Another item was the creation of non-departmental funds, and this also goes in with your transfer allocations. We separated now those transfer allocations to a non-departmental fund for it can be reflected as a fund totals. Next was the creation of the Paul Polk Fund. Separated from 655 municipal facility funds, we separated Paul Polk individually to its own special revenue fund for it can be supported by the general fund correctly. And following up the 780 fixed assets, we closed the Fund 780 for it will no longer be used. We also closed 760 utility billing fund that is now transferred as a department into the water fund. And following these last items is personnel for next fiscal year. We are unfreezing the frozen position of the chief accountant. And we are adding one new position in the fixed asset CIP clerk. And this is due to material weaknesses found in the 2023 audit. Now, those are your budget highlights. There's another page that was kind of separate from your binder. That was the back page of this. And those are our budget concerns going into once we work our balances out. And some of these budget concerns you might want to think of as we go through our full presentation is the general fund balance, where we're going to keep it as a 5-month reserve or a 3-month reserve, and that has been operating as a loss. Facility maintenance and internal service funds, fleet internal service funds, municipal facility internal service funds all have prior year fund balances that were in the negative. So those will have to be addressed. And how to address that will be discussed. Following this budget, we mentioned a one-time stipend for $1,200 to the employees, but that also means no COLA merit increases now for 2 years. And following this is the increase to health insurance cost and deductible employee contribution will be $19 every 2 weeks, and a $500 increase in the deductible to $1,000 for the employees. Last item is the increase in transfers in to cover the internal service funds, the deficit I spoke of earlier, or expenses to each of the department division. Your choice will hit on fund balances.
What's not included in this budget is debt service. And the reason why is we are waiting from Texas Water Development Board to get us amortization for the new debt that was just approved. So, and when we get that, we will be submitting to y'all the debt service schedule.
I have a question for you, Ms. Burke. On the insurance, are you giving the employees an option on the 5 to 1,000, or are you just going to do it automatically? They have no choice.
If I may
We
answer
don't
that.
have, we do not have a choice. First of all, they will not increase and only with $500 increments. We are unfunded, which we'll talk about that. We are underfunded by 17% as of this fiscal year. So even doing this, we are not getting fully funded. If we were to get fully funded, we would have to bring, and I haven't gotten an answer yet, but I am estimating about $2,500 deductible in order to be fully funded. So even with this, we're bringing our balance of what's unfunded to 11%.
If I may also add, with the moving to $1,000 deductible, we will be using approximately, I believe it was a little over 600,000 of fund balance in the health insurance fund to ease into whatever comes next year. So she is correct that if we were to do this all at once to become fully funded, it would be a $2,500 hit,
And
which is a $2,000
that's my estimate. We haven't
increase.
gotten a positive number from TML yet.
But it would be approximately a $2,000 increase to deductible. And that just seemed unwise in the first year. With that saying, we are going to use a portion of fund balance for the health fund, leaving approximately $2.9 million in the fund after everything is said and done as fund balance. But we would ease into this over 2 years for the health fund, because simply jumping more than $500, and this is from TML standpoint, jumping more than $500 in a given year on deductible is not advisable.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Oh, we're going to discuss this, right? So go
Everything's
ahead.
up. We can bring your questions right now, or we can go through the presentation and bring them with each of the funds or the department divisions on the operating.
I think you can proceed, and they'll ask the questions as we go.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, and that was our budget highlights and concerns going into the fiscal year. Next item we have on your binder is the City of Del Rio organizational chart. We're looking to get this revamped and approved, as the organizational chart needs some changes.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. As we address the organizational chart, our next item that we have on your packet, starting with the first pink sleeve, is our fund balances.
Sorry, I have a question about the org chart. So first, there's no line between the city council and the city manager. And then, I'll be honest, I got home around 8:30, 8:45 last night. This was waiting for me. It's the first time I had seen it, have not had a chance to look through it. Did not know that we were going to be talking about this because I just got it last night. So what are the differences between this proposed org chart and the current?
I would like, first we'll put that line in because it's obviously an error. The first thing is that finance would fall under the city manager rather than the assistant city manager. And all of the services provided by Operations and compliance would fall under the assistant city manager. It currently falls under the city manager. So we're trading out departments there.
And that's the only change?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't, let me also say, up under finance, you will also see municipal court cash collection, international bridge cash collection, and transportation cash collection falling under finance.
And where are they right now?
They are within their own divisions. We simply need to have consistency on cash collections that is overseen by the finance department.
All right, thank you.
Any other concerns or questions regards to the organizational chart?
Ms. Burkhart, I think in the past, did you say that you were creating another position?
That position is fixed assets, and that would be under finance.
Okay,
It's actually falling into the purchasing division, fixed assets. The chief accountant falls into the accounting division of finance.
okay.
One is a frozen position, and we're just funding it, and then putting the fixed assets. They go along together so as to address the shortfalls in our audit in 2023.
Mayor, I have a question for Ms. Burkhart.
Yes, ma'am.
In the transportation department, under community services, we do collect also cash. So is that also going to be part of or under the finance?
Yes, it is the last
Oh,
box
there it
under
is.
finance,
It's a little-
transportation.
Okay, very
Yes,
good. Thank you.
it's just a faded version.
So all the cash collections from the different departments will be under? Very good.
Yes.
Finance, thank you.
How about the golf commission, the golf course? Don't they collect cash?
The Golf Commission does collect cash. They are supervised currently already under the Finance Division. They turn in all of their finance documents. But we can certainly put another small box, if you will,
Well, they're
under
already-
this.
They're already in part, right?
Excuse me.
That's correct.
So they collect there and then they transfer it over to,
That's
That's
correct.
correct.
And we can just add that to
All right.
this chart.
That would be good.
Sure.
okay. Any other questions, concerns from you guys in regards to the organizational chart? If not, we'll proceed on the fund balance. Sir?
Yes, sir. Our first tab there is fund balances. And so to go over the sheet on the columns, you have the 101 general fund on the top left corner. Going each column, you have the 2023, 2024 actual expenses that was done via audit. 2024, 2025 original budget, 2024, 2025 amended budget, and our projected 2024, 2025 budget. And then you have a percentage difference between the projected budget to the original budget. And then following next is two little scenarios we are working into our budget. But the one we want to focus on really is scenario 2, the requested budget for 2025, 2026. And going from the columns down the line items is your beginning fund balance. So beginning in this last fiscal year, 23-24, you had 17.4 mil, and you ended at 16.4. Going down, the revenue was 30.3, expenditures were 31.1, and the reserve, after any fund balance and reserve fund balance, you were at 16.4. Then, starting the original budget, you carried that fund balance over 16.5, and we expected revenue to be 30.1 and expenditures to be 30.9, with a expectation of 800,000 coming from transfer from fund balance. That would leave our ending fund balance at 15.7. Carrying that over, but through the year, we have amended our budget. Currently now, we're looking at revenue being 31.6, but our expenditures also have increased to 32.2, increasing our transfer from fund balance to 1.2, leaving now our ending fund balance to be 15.2. And lastly is we have our projected budget. Projected budget is what we currently see how expenditures are tracking from the fiscal year. We expect it to increase to 32.93, but mind you, also revenue will probably be closer to 30.3 mil.
No, some of those numbers are hard to read. I think it's the same.
You got a question, Councilman DeRusse?
Well, no,
Yes.
the city secretary wasn't sure if the numbers on the screen are the same as in the book that we were given. Honestly, the screen on the screen right in front of us is much more fuzzy and hard to read than that. So,
Oh, I have 3. Yes, sorry, I do have a third one.
so apparently what's up on the screen is not what I'm looking at on the book?
Yes, there's a line item missing for additional requests.
Okay.
When did this additional request appear, Flavio? Just recently? Because
No, it was just a printing error. That additional request should have been there. The old form was printed for fund balances.
Could we have some,
But that should be the only line item difference. I can address that.
could we get a copy
Yes.
passed out to all of the council members so they're working off the same document? Thank you.
No, it's just the general fund. It's just the general fund. I give it to Luis. Oh, wait. Wait, that don't, yeah, that doesn't have it. It's, the line item missing is the additional request for 62,700, and those items will be presented in the general fund tab. Other than that, these numbers are relatively accurate from your revenue expenditures and transfers from fund balance, and to clean out the 780 fund.
Hey Flavia, was the 62,700 supposed to be subtracted from the ending fund balance?
It will be, yes, it will be subtracted from your ending fund balance.
So then that number would be different, right?
Yes, it'll be reduced.
Hasn't been. Great. Good catch.
Could you continue and explain options 1 and 2?
Yes.
We get the same numbers.
So starting with our scenarios, option 1, we had to go to include also 2 new positions in health and code, 1 position each for enforcement.
We've taken that out.
That's right, that's what scenario 1 had that
Oh,
go.
okay. Got it.
And also, scenario 1 includes a full budgeted personnel for a full hiring of the vacancies. We put a 90-day hiring lag for the police department for vacancies to account for recruiting time and apply that to our expenditures on personnel.
The delay is a similar delay that has been used in prior budgets for vacancies within the police department. It is only equivalent to 3 months. Now, if the police department were to find someone to hire immediately, they would still get to hire them immediately. We just simply are basically budgeting for turnover
So this page, we
as
keep
they
moving
have
it over.
turnover.
This one?
Now, so you might see that there's no changes in the ending fund balance right now. That's because the additional request hasn't been put into our budget. It is not, all items that we will be going over in the general fund tab with council's approval, we will add that to our budget.
So what's the difference in revenue from scenario 1 to scenario 2? You talked about the expenditure difference, but you didn't talk about the revenue difference.
Yes, we also adjusted our allocations for our internal services of admin building to the enterprise funds. So we initially had a transfer from our gas department to the general fund for $337,900. We increased that by 23,900 for now being 361,800. We did that for each of the gas, water, refuse, and wastewater. These are additional personnel that we reviewed and accounted for their allocations that should be supporting, enterprise admin operations.
Okay. Give me that number again, 22,000 and what?
It was 23,900 from gas to the general fund, transfer in.
Okay.
We did this for gas, water, refuse, and wastewater, total being 95,600.
So you're saying you weren't allocating the correct amount for the transfer?
Yes, we reviewed
But-
it again with city manager.
Yeah, copy that. That adds up to about the $95,000 that is difference. However, shouldn't that allocation for that transfer be the same regardless of which scenario? Because you didn't talk about different employees for those funds, or adding positions and all that. So So why is that $95,000 not in both revenue lines?
Simply, the transfers were not enough for the internal service funds. Is this what,
It was personnel, so we revamped our transfers from the enterprise to the general fund. We determined a personnel list that were providing services for that. We put that in scenario 1. We met with city manager and she advised us we should include additional personnel that were not on that list. The additional, so that's where we also increased our transfers.
Okay, I understand that. But that's not my question.
Okay.
My question is, why is that not, that higher level of transfers from each of those funds, the 23.9, why does that not apply to both scenarios? Because the individuals, the number, the work that they're doing, the allocation that needs to be done, there's no difference in those 4 funds between option 1 and option 2, is there?
No. And
So,
that's-
so why is that $95,000 not transferred over in both of these scenarios? That's my question.
It's us being more transparent of our procedures of this is what we created for scenario 1, and then after a discussion, this is what was revamped. We can do a
Okay.
agreement that, yes, we want to include that option 2 part of revenue in option 1.
Okay.
And
It's
that's what
simply
our
timing.
budget,
So what you're saying is scenario 2 overrides scenario 1.
what we're presenting right now, yes.
Okay, so why are we even talking about scenario 1? Because you are not putting out scenario 1 and scenario 2, which is how I assume, as you guys need to decide between these two. That's kind of how it's presented here. And again, I got this last night. I might have had a chance to send the city manager a question and clarify that before the meeting, rather than spend 5 minutes trying to get clear on this.
No, and
So,
this is what we're trying to
Okay.
do right now, is for the discussion.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So reviewing these scenarios,
Mr. Flavio,
yes, ma'am.
just to follow up with Mayor Pro Tem DeRusse, we're being presented 2 scenarios, 1 and 2.
We're
But
presenting, yes,
you are, or the
recommending,
city administration is actually advocating for number 2. That's why everything was placed into number 2. So that's why the question, and it is a little confusing, why are we presented both scenarios if we're really only like pushing for scenario 2?
we're pushing for the scenario 2, but we want to be transparent that this was the original option that we were working off of.
this is,
So the preferred is scenario 2. Thank you.
if I may share, this is simply a timing issue. The budget is a snapshot in time. We had to absolutely cut off the date for any changes to that budget number. So that's everything up through the projected budget. The scenario 1 came along, and then after that came scenario 2. We had to make adjustments to adding 2 people and a percentage of their time for transfers, and increasing that transfer slightly for 2 people. And so it's simply a timing issue.
By the time we finish this budget, could be a scenario 3 be added into it?
That's
Yes, and that is the goal, is to work off of these options and our current situation and create a scenario 3 with a proposed budget that council agrees to.
And that'd be the more accurate one?
Yes.
Because right now, you're just going with 1, and 2, you're giving us ins and outs of both scenarios.
Everything, we're being transparent with everything we're working with.
All right, go ahead, Flavia. Any other questions from the dais, concerns? Not? Go ahead, continue.
So next fiscal year, we look at our revenues being 27.28 and our expenditures being 34.4 million. Now, you see that there is increase in expenditures and decrease in revenue overall. A large portion of the revenue decrease is the transfers in from other funds and some grant applications that haven't been renewed. Now, expenditures increase is mainly due to operations now being presented at a 100% working capacity that we did during the budget workshops.
You know, I have a, what's this clean out 780 for $600,000? I know it's on the projected budget, but what is that?
Yes, sir.
Fixed assets.
That is the fixed assets, capital assets closing of the 780 fund. To reconcile our books correctly from those fixed assets, general fund will need to transfer out 600,000.
This stems from the 2023 audit. As you remember, we had a big problem with fixed assets, and the reason why is because fixed assets was lumped together with all the funds. So, and it shouldn't have been. They should have kept the fixed assets and CIP within each individual proprietary fund. You can lump together your special revenue funds and your governmental funds, which governmental would be your general fund 101. Your special revenues are all your 200, transportation, WIC, nutrition, those are all PEG, and now we're gonna add Paul Pogue. So those are your special revenue funds. So because we had to dissect that in 2023, we did an adjustment in the 23 audit, the 24 audit, and we closed the books out completely to get it correct for this fiscal year that we're in, and we just finished that literally yesterday. So that's what that number is. It's what is, what is considered the general funds transfer.
All right, go ahead, Flo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we say, if I may also say, when we say closeout, we mean full and complete reconciliation.
It's not gonna come back next year.
That's correct.
There's no more Fund 780. It's zero.
That's it?
That's it. There's no more Fund 780.
Yes, so that is the clean out 780 from the projected budget. And if we follow those increases this year, we're looking at an ending balance of being 13.9 million. So we will carry that over to our next fiscal year as our starting fund balance. And as I mentioned, the revenue being 27.3 million and our expenditures being 34 million. And we have additional requests to go over later in our book for $60,700. Our ending fund balance will be 7.3 million with an unassigned balance of 7.2. So that is our fund balances. And next is our financial policy. We have to have currently a 5-month reserve. Ending this fiscal year, our projected column, we do expect to still be within the 5-month reserve by 2.1 million. But next year, if we continue this process, we will be overshot by 4.9 million.
4.5 million, if
And
you
then-
look at scenario 2.
And then scenario 2, 4.5 million. Option 2 will be to change our financial policy to 3-month reserve, going from 11.7 million estimated to 7.1 estimated reserve balance. And with scenario 2, we would be able to meet this reserve balance by estimated 180,000.
Please note that this is not a sustainable budget for the following year because you will not have those reserves to pull from. So in essence, we're 4.5 million annually over budget.
That would be correct. That is your general fund and the concern to be addressed during this budget discussions. Our next fund is our 203 Transportation Fund. And our next year, we're looking at our requested budget of, we're starting with a fund balance of 157,000, revenue being 1.5 million, and expenditures to match it, 1.5 million. Now, the special revenue funds will require a transfer in from the general fund. ahead. There's nothing there. Oh, the updated figures, okay. Sorry, let me print out this document. It does not have the additional request amounts on them.
Is there any other
From-
ones that don't have that, mijo? Because it's
We
getting
can-
to where the
we can
council
go
can
over
get
it.
frustrated on this, because
Yes.
every time you're doing a
Just a little bit.
presentation.
And I didn't pick up the additional requests. We can go over that as a separate item when we do go over that column, because these are not budgeted items. Or we can print it out total right now. Print them out? Okay, we're printing them out right now.
Is that it, Roxy?
Over something, can he highlight it so that we can go on it because
Yes.
just so you know, they're all missing and you can talk to it.
Yes. So the additional request is for the transportation fund is 20,800. Our ending fund balance being 157,180. Our next fund is the 204 WIC, Women, Infant, and Children. Our beginning fund balance for next fiscal year is 131,116. Our revenue being 735,100. Our expenditures being 735,100, and the ending fund balance being 131,16.
Thank you.
The next item is our nutrition fund, 205. Beginning fund balance is 7,818, revenue being 748,800, expenditures matching, ending fund balance 7,818.
Can you pause for just
Yes.
a moment?
Let me go back.
Flavio,
Yes.
could you go back to the last, I believe it was nutrition that we were on? Or wait, yeah, nutrition. Could we start there again when we're done handing out documents?
Let me check.
Now be transferred to the general. Why?
Can you put a pause for 10 minutes?
Can't we take a small recess to get all the documents in order? Okay. It's 9:46, and we'll take a small recess of 10 minutes. Always, anytime there's money,
Yeah,
Great.
but they're not, they don't want to. Originally wanted, it's gonna cost them $350,000 to lay the infrastructure. I don't know how
it's
to do
10:09 and we're back from recess.
Worry about it
Go
later.
ahead, Flavio, start with the next part of the budget.
That's not factored in there.
But I think you said those are anticipated.
Yeah, but they should put it in there.
Hello. I'll get started again with the transportation fund. As we were discussing, these are your fund balances. So, and your special revenue funds require a transfer in from the general fund to match their expenditures. So that's why you'll see the revenues matching.
Okay. Flavio, I have a
Yes, sir.
question. So one, that additional request is not calculated into the ending fund balance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if our ending fund balance is 157,000, why do we need to transfer 40,000 in? Because if we don't transfer that 40,000 in, our fund balance is still gonna be about 115, 95-ish after you take that additional request out. So why are we transferring money into the fund if the fund is gonna have a positive balance even without the fund transfer?
That's one of those options that council has. Special revenue-wise, you would like to make sure each fiscal year you match your expenditures. And to match that expenditures, we will require that 39,000. But you're right, we do have a cushion. We will have to also look into our financial policy and how much we can go into that fund balance. Be sure that there is a reserve requirement for these individual funds.
Okay, so some of the other pages have what the reserve requirement is. Does the transportation fund have a reserve fund requirement like the general fund and the enterprise funds of, I don't remember ever discussing a, 3 or 5 month requirement for the special revenue funds.
I'll have to, that's why I don't recall either, but I will have to look that in first before
Okay.
we do anything to go into fund balance.
Because the other thing is, you say we need to transfer in from fund balance in order to basically balance out. But for this past year, our revenue is, $40,000 more. So why?
Actually, may I correct that? I would assume the transfers from fund balance really, you're increasing, you're right, your revenues are more. So you're-
Exactly.
That's,
So-
you're increasing your fund balance. So the
Exactly.
transfer from fund balance that transfer from fund balance can be either increase or decrease.
Yeah, but you said we have to balance them out. But by transferring money in from the general fund of 39,634 for this year, you now have $39,634 more revenue than your expenditure. So why do we need to do that?
So-
Is if they're already gonna be balanced and we're gonna have a ending fund balance much higher than the transfer, why do we need to transfer in? And there's a couple of these funds that have transfers that
So
we're gonna have to talk about.
one of our options is, you're right, since we're having a revenue increase at the end of this fiscal year projected, we can actually decrease our transfer in from the general fund into transportation by that amount if at the end of the year, audit-wise, we meet that projected amount.
So you're saying that
This is
the
a projection of what we
end-
expect.
End of year,
Audit
you know.
reconciliation, we will review that to see if it was needed. If not, we can actually plan for a transfer back into the general fund.
okay.
Unless Linda has any other recommendations.
No, and again, this is a workshop, and these are all projected numbers. So if our projections are either high or low, then we have to go back and look at that and then do the final transfer. This is not the final budget. This is a workshop to show you where we're at right now and what we are, because we still have 2 whole months left. So once we see, and last night we stayed to put in the new fees in our system, so we are ready to go Monday morning with those fees. So we'll see what kind of revenues we generate. We are also closing out
Sorry,
POs.
Linda, what did you say about the additional revenue? Sorry, I was distracted by the dance party over there.
No, I was saying that we put in the new fees last night. Because the new fees that were just adopted.
Let us clarify which fees we're talking about.
Yes, so we're
Which
talking about
ones?
revenues, and we're talking about expenditures, and we're talking about projections.
Just want to make sure we're not talking about water and sewer.
No,
Okay,
talking about revenues for the general fund,
just want to make sure.
which is transportation and WIC,
Yeah.
and those are all governmental accounting type funds. So those fees, with the exception of transportation, they all had increases, so all those fees are in here. We're projecting based on a 2-month revenue to see what kind of revenues we get. Then the next time we bring you back the budget, it will show you a little bit more accurate because we're not expecting to generate much revenue based on those new fees because, again, we only have 2 months left in the year. So once we do that, when we'll go back, and the other thing too is we don't have the final numbers. I mean, I can't even tell you the transfers in for the debt service because we don't have the numbers from Texas Water Development Board. Once we get those numbers back from Texas Water Development Board, we can finalize the numbers. This is just a workshop to show you what the budget is right now. It's for information only. For fund balance purposes, it's just information only. And also, this budget is new with fund balances because in the prior years, you never had a fund balance projection. So we added that this time so you can see, and this budget is a lot more transparent than what you've gotten in the past with what council is, what you're voting on and what you are approving for adoptions in the budget, especially with the capital assets and with CIP. And travel and, things that, I hate saying this, but things that can kind of cushion the departments, because sometimes those things do cushion the departments. This way you see that there is no cushioning, there's no padding. What we're giving you is black and white, there's no gray. So what you're adopting in this budget, you see all the backup that the departments had to give us to present to you in order to show you that this is what it's going to cost them to run their departments and divisions. This is a complete revamping of the budget you all have had in the past, and where hopefully it will take you in the future to have an understanding of how important fund balance is. Because that's one thing that was never addressed to y'all is your fund balance. And fund balance is a very important part of the budget, especially since we have a 5-month policy. And to keep that 5-month policy is going to be really, really difficult this budget year. I don't personally think we can do it. And it really, like I said, depends on the transfers. Transfers will depend on how much revenue. And the healthcare cost is another one, and then, of course, your debt is another one.
Any follow-up questions, Mayor Pro Tem DeRuz?
Not for right now.
Go ahead, Flavio.
Thank you. So with that in mind, our 203 Transportation Department, we are following with next year expectations of expenditures being 1.5 million, with additional requests for 20,000 that will be reviewed. Our next fund will be our 204 WIC department. This year, we're projecting we will have additional revenues of 95,800 $82, and any fund balance will be $131,116. We carry that over to the next fiscal year projection, and expenditures being $735,100.
Flavia,
Yes,
another
sir.
question. So, the original budget, then the revenue we anticipated increasing. Our costs were originally expected to increase, but now they're expected to decrease. But why did the transfer from the general fund get even bigger than the original if our revenue has increased over what we originally anticipated and our expenditures have decreased over what was originally anticipated? And if we don't do that planned budget transfer, we're still going to have a positive ending fund balance.
So transfer from fund balance isn't a transfer from the general fund. This is, 204 is its own,
I understand that, but
So that,
on this page that we just talked about,
Yes.
you said this transfer was from the general fund. So
sorry, I must have misquoted.
is the 204 transfer? So transfer from fund balance,
Is
what,
not from general, it's from.
what
the
fund
en-
is that coming from?
It's from 204. They have their own fund. They have their own fund balance.
Okay, so the top row says beginning fund balance.
That is for 204.
Got it. The bottom row, ending fund balance for 204.
That's correct.
You're saying the transfer from fund balance row, right in the middle of the page,
Can be a positive or a negative.
got that? It's a transfer from the 204 fund balance,
Yes, it's how it's being affected.
which is a higher number than what the top row says the beginning fund balance is.
Yes, we're expecting.
So
Okay.
how can you transfer money from the 204 fund balance to the 204 fund balance and come up with a different number? Because what am I missing here?
What question do you want him to answer, Councilman DeRusso?
Where's that
You
money
keep
coming
asking
from?
different
That
things.
anticipated transfer, where's that money coming from?
Okay, that is the question you want to answer, because
Transfer
with all
from-
respect, sir, I think we're kind of slowing down a little. If you have a question, just respond, and he can respond to you, because he doesn't get a chance to give you an answer on any of the questions.
Because I wasn't done with my question.
Okay, so now you're done.
Where's that money coming from?
Thank you. So that money is coming from your fiscal year. That transfer from fund balance, sorry if it's misleading, but that is your ending, your revenue minus expenditures is what requires for how you end your fiscal year. So
Okay.
beginning fund balance for original budget, it was $36,034.
Copy that.
Revenue expected is $670,000.
Yes.
And expenditures is $611,000.
Yes.
You have additional revenue for $58,582. That is the transfer from, fund balance is increasing by $58,582.
Okay, so this is just the way that I think. The transfer from fund balance phrase is throwing me for a loop because to me that's increase, change in fund balance,
Change in fund balance.
increase or decrease, because you're not actually transferring it. It, in this case, is an excess.
Yes.
Okay,
It's just the terminology.
that makes
we've
more
been-
sense now, thank you.
We've been using,
Okay.
especially when it comes with the general fund.
Okay, so we're not actually moving the money that we were talking about right now. That's just the balance. That's just the change in balance, not moving money. Copy that, okay.
Correct. Great. All right, moving on. 204 WIC Department. So as mentioned, next fiscal year, we're looking at a beginning fund balance of $131,116. Our revenue being $735,100, expenditures matching that. Our ending fund balance should remain the same. So projecting these special revenues, as I mentioned, is we ideally that transfer from fund balance is zero. Expenditures match revenue. Next is our nutrition department. As you can see on this one, we started with an original budget of $101,000. our expected revenue being 627,000, while our expenditures were 642,700. So we would have to plan for a negative fund balance of 15,600, decreasing our fund balance to 85,600. Our projections to this year is revenue being 713,400, and our expenditures increasing to 806,800, with our additional hit to fund balance now being 93,400, relieving you a ending fund balance of 7,818. So,
Ms. Burkhart?
yes.
What,
Yes.
or maybe Flavio, what caused our anticipated expenditures to jump $165,000?
The cost of meals,
The cost of what, sorry?
of meals.
Okay.
Lack of funding, cost of meals.
Yeah.
And Josie, please, feel free to speak to that if you feel the need.
Josie, you have any comments, Mika? You have any comments on that, or?
No, thank you. Our next department is our room tax, which is our hot funds, in other words. Hot funds are projected balance for 24-25 is 1.2 million. Its revenues being a 915,000, which is a decrease from our original budget, while expenditures are also looking at a decrease to 666,000, with our ending fund balance being 1.49 million. Generally, our hot tax allocation hasn't changed from last fiscal year, so we're leaving those numbers as budgeted, and our requested budget for next fiscal year will be 1.16 in revenue, with the expenditure being 846,250. With that, we will have an increase to fund balance at 1.8 million projected. Our next fund is our 207 PEG channel. Our projections for this fiscal year have a beginning fund balance of 46,740, revenue being 53,200, and expenditures being 28,200, leaving us with increased fund balance of 25,000. Ending fund balance will be 71,740. Taking that over to our next fiscal year requested budget, our revenue being 54,000, our expenditures being 27,600, with an increase to fund balance of 26,400, leaving us with 98,140. These other accounts don't really see much change in fund balances. Restricted court, next fiscal year, we're looking at a revenue of 59,700, with expenditures being 22,800, increase of fund balance being 36,900, and 268,692 being your ending fund balance.
Flavio, I have a question on that one, too.
Yes, sir.
The 23-24 and the 24-25 have no expenditures.
Yes.
So what is the difference? Why did we go from 2 years of no expenditures to 22-8?
So restricted court, as the name applies, it has certain stipulations of that money has to be collected from court collections for building security, for child safety, for truancy, and those funds can only be used for certain purposes. We've been reviewing that with our Judge Flores of what those funds can be used, and now we're planning to spend those funds next fiscal year.
So when was the last year that we spent some of that restricted funds on the allowable things? Do we know?
I would think the year before, I know there's some, we will have to look into that.
Okay, thank you.
Our next fund is the 209 ARPA. From what you can see as our revenue, our ending fund balance was 418,666. Our revenue is expected to be 79,200. Really, most of that is interest income. We're not receiving any more ARPA funds. And our expenditures, we don't have any more plans for the expenditures unless there's some POs lingering next year or something. We'll review that as they come in. Our next one is the 212 property and forfeiture. Our projected budget will be a beginning fund balance of 28,970, revenue being 614, and we don't have any expenditures planned during this rest of this fiscal year. Next year, we'll be carrying over a fund balance projected being 29,584, a increase of revenue 1,000, and expenditures being 5,000 next year. Any fund balance being 25,584. Our next fund is our 213 opioid abatement fund. Our beginning fund balance for that one is 23,392, revenue being $500. Our expenditures being 6,000. That was what we budgeted for. But our projections being revenue being 800, expenditures 0, as we don't have any plans to use these funds. Next year, we do plan to try to use 6,000 of this.
Flavio,
Yes.
in that department, there's a pending settlement against one of the defendants that's probably going to close this year, so I'll get that number to you.
Great. So we'll have those as they come in. But our projections next year for our fund balance ending will be 19,000. Our next fund is our 215 Law Enforcement Training Fund. Our beginning budget is for fund balance is 34,980, revenue being 10,200, expenditures 8,800, with a increase to fund balance for it being 36,380. Taking that over to next year, revenue is expected to be $9,000, expenditures 8,000, increase to fund balance of 1,000, increasing our fund balance to 37,380. Next, we have our 222 textile bus facilities grant. Our amended budget, our projected budget being 109,502, revenue being 2,200, expenditures, we don't expect to finish off this fiscal year with the expenditures that were planned. Our carry over to fund balance will be 111,702, but there are some what was planned was purchase of bus vehicle and additional transport vehicle, most likely will be into next fiscal year. That is the 1.2 million, which we'll also receive via grant. Next fund is our 228 Economic, Community, and Housing. Our projected beginning balance is 91,356. Our revenue being 315,900, expenditures being 241,200, with an increase to fund balance of 74,700, ending fund balance of 166,056. Next year, we do plan for revenue being 321,900, with a matching expenditure of 321,900. The next fund we're looking at is our 229 Economic Development Corp. Projected for 24-25, beginning fund balance is 2,072,568. Revenue being 890,000, with our expenditures being 50,000. We are increasing our fund balance by 840,000, leaving an ending fund balance of 2.9 million. Beginning fund balance for next fiscal year being in that 2.9 million. Economic Development Corp has plans to allocate that 850,000 revenue through the fiscal year, matching the expenditures of 850,000.
Now, the EDC will be reviewing their budget. They've asked for us to allocate all of the revenue, annual revenue, into different categories, and so that will be presented to you as well. They will be reviewing that at their next meeting. I believe that's next week, on I believe, the 7th. In addition, this reflects expenditures for this current fiscal year, reflects the lack of a EDC director, and we hope to rectify that at this next meeting.
Thank you. Next is our latest creative fund, being 255 Pop Polk Theater. Really, we have just expenditures for this fund, which are your utilities to manage it for now until we get an official start date of the Pop Polk. But currently, we are in a negative fund balance of 71,488.
Excuse me, Mr. Burke. Going back to the 229 economic development, this particular balance that you have here, is that already subtracted to the all-exclusive park transfers projected from this amount?
I believe Roxy has already projected what that will be and has subtracted that in the budget.
But not in this particular one right now?
No, it is.
It is?
It's included.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
When is Pop Polk Theaters going to be done?
It's estimated to be done in April, late April.
Yes, sir. It's estimated to be completed around April.
Maybe by then we start getting it in the blacks.
Once we get a good start date, as we review, construction, we'll bring back an amendment to run the facilities for the Pop Polk.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Minchuk.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Flavio.
Next line item is our 429 debt service. We do have a expected, our current beginning fund balance is 6.8 million, with revenue being 9.1, our expenditures being 8.6, with an increase to fund balance of 444,100. Next year, we'll carry over that fund balance of 7.2 million, additional revenue of 9.9 million, and expenditures being 5.8. Mind you, as Ms. Linda has mentioned, that we still pending allocations for our TWDB loans. Oh,
I believe in addition, Linda, can you share the defeasance?
Yes, so in here, we have got 2 bonds that we're going to be defeasing. We also are going to be defeasing a portion of, we have 2 2015 bonds and a 2013 bond. The 2013 bond we're defeasing in full. The 2015A we're defeasing, and the 2015B we're defeasing portion of. So we're going to try and get rid of as much debt in this fiscal year as we can for the general fund. But we are increasing debt in the water and wastewater fund.
Right.
Thank you.
thank you.
Any questions on that from the dais? Not, go ahead, Flavio.
Moving from our debt service, we're moving to our enterprise funds, starting with our gas department. Gas department, we're looking at our projected beginning fund balance being 2.89 million, with revenues being 3.8, our expenditures being 6.2 million, with a transfer decrease from the fund balance being 2.4 million, leaving ending fund balance at 441,243. Carrying over that to next fiscal year, we expect revenue to be 3.8 million, with expenditures being 3.5, lowering our expenditures mainly from the transfers out to the general fund and other funds. With that in mind, we will have a transfer from fund balance as an increase of 332,300, while pending our additional request for 13,700 to be reviewed by council.
No, Fabio, as far as the gas department, are they still installing a lot of gas meters, or they're just putting the line? If they're on subdivisions or new developments or new houses, individual houses?
I think Ms. Burkhart has,
I can share that we have not started the rollout of the gas meters as of yet. I do know that they are still installing gas meters in the newer areas, but in terms of the new gas meters that we planned on, that has not rolled out as of yet.
Great.
Mr. Lopez, to answer your question specifically in regards about lines, we are extending lines out in the distribution system of the city of Del Rio, and then, of course, we passed an ordinance back in 2021. Was it 2021? In regards to gas lines, and new development have to be laid out. But the installation of the meter, that's an active service that has to be attended here or processed here at the utility billing. But to answer your specific question, yes.
So some people have been requesting gas more than just in all electric.
I guess we'd have to, yeah, I mean, they do, but it's not a great increase, right? So you're kind of balanced out. I think right now we have 6,000 active meters, if I'm correct. But then you have some that drop out, then you have some that come back on, right? Just depends. It just depends on the customer whether they want gas service or not.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Hey, Greg, one more question on that. I think if we're gonna be, replacing all these lines, it's a good opportunity to try to, I know there's an incentive for new connections, but also maybe an incentive for the builder, for us to increase the revenue, which is great already, but to increase it, if we're gonna be digging up all these lines and not getting new customers, then someone would think, what's the point, right? But I know it's off subject, but if we could have some kind of direction or feedback of what can we do to get more gas customers, especially in the areas where we're tearing up good streets to replace a line.
I agree. Absolutely. Sure, go ahead.
Can you get up here, mijo?
Danny Holomos, gas superintendent. In replacing the gas lines, we've been replacing them because it's a requirement from FAMSA, from the Railroad Commission. So there is a administrative code, a Texas administrative code, that we have to replace 8% of a section of our gas lines, or the gas system. So we have what is called Integrity Management Program, which is another regulation, and that goes in conjunction with our replacement program. So whatever our integrity management program shows that we're our highest risk of potential leaks, that's what we have to replace. So that's what we've been replacing gas lines. And yes, we have been extending the gas system, but we are getting connections, not as much as we want, right? But we have on the north side a few hundred connections already.
Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that. It makes a lot of sense now that you mentioned it. But I still think that if we're gonna repave that street, I think it would be cool to leave a door hanger or something on those homeowners. Who knows, maybe we could.
Right,
they could
and
take
we do
advantage.
leave flyers showing them about our rebate program. But some, they don't want to, they inquire, but the majority of the problem is the cost of the plumber. It's, the plumbers are like super expensive.
Yeah. And if there's any way that we could offset that, I mean, we could possibly have a customer for life, right?
Right.
Those are some things I think should be looked at later down the road on a different subject.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holomos. Any other questions?
I have one.
Well, Mr. Holomos or for?
No, for
Flavio.
Flavio,
Flavio?
for the gas department, what's our required reserve, our 5 months for, what does that come to for that fund?
we'll have to look into those. We can get you that for the next meeting,
That'd be great, thank you.
reserve
For-
requirements.
for all the enterprise funds, please.
Yes.
I can answer that question.
Okay, thank you.
So the minimum reserve requirement is 3 months, but our targeted reserve requirement was 4 months.
But how much
The dollar amount?
dollar amount, yeah.
Okay, we can calculate that.
Okay,
one.
thank
All
you.
right.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. That was your gas department. Next fund will be our water, with our projected budget, beginning fund balance being 60.9 million, our revenues being 10.6 million, and our expenditures being 12.3, leaving us a decrease of fund balance of 1.6 million, leaving us with any fund balance of 59,286,918. As you can see, during the year, we do have revenues projected to drop by roughly 10%. For our next fiscal year, we have our beginning fund balance being 59,286,918, with revenues increasing to 12.9 million, while our expenditures also increasing to 13.2 million, leaving us with a decrease of fund balance of 263,000, with also additional requests for a 4,600 coming from the department, with our ending fund balance being $59,023,918.
Again, debt for the Texas Water Development Board is not in here.
Increase of 10% if you're gonna increase the rates.
Now, are you saying that we're going to lose revenue based on our water stages?
This year.
Is that why he's saying that we might lose some revenue in the water?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear
Did
you.
he say we're going to lose revenue in the water a little bit? That's going to come down,
In this current projected year, we expect our.
but it's
water
based on
revenue to
the
be
water stages of the
based
city.
off of water stages, consumption, and our projections.
And Laughlin's numbers have been dropping over the last 5 years. Laughlin's consumption has been dropping over the last 5 years.
Taking that on into account is why we also are conservative with our 12.9 million revenue projection for next year.
And again, I believe Linda said this does not include debt service as of yet for the water fund, because we don't have the debt service numbers.
I'm sorry, drainage. We don't have the, we don't have the amortization schedule from Texas Water Development Board. I have requested it. I was hoping to get it yesterday, but I did not.
Go ahead, Flavio.
Thank you. Was there any questions on our water fund?
No,
Councilman
thank
Durant?
you.
No?
Thank you.
Councilwoman Gutierrez?
No, he answered the question about why the revenue was going down, consumption and stuff.
Tina?
Our next fund is our international bridge. Beginning fund balance for our projected budget of this fiscal year being 10.7 million, revenue being 8,910,000, with our expenditures being 10.3 million. This will have a hit to fund balance, a decrease of 1.4 million, leaving our ending fund balance being 9,286,275. Carrying that over to the next fiscal year, our beginning fund balance will be 9,286,275, with our revenue being projected at 8,920,000, with our expenditures being projected at 9,310,300. Again, another decrease to fund balance for 390,300, with additional requests pending for 30,800, leaving our fund balance with 8,895,975 projected. Are there any questions? Thank you. I'll be moving on to our next fund, the International Airport. Our projected fiscal year fund balance, beginning fund balance is 14,241,631, with expected revenue being 798,600, expenditures being 800,800, with a decrease from our fund balance of 2,200, leaving a ending fund balance of 14,239,431. taking over that to the next fiscal year, we expect our revenues to be $6,015,300, while our expenditures being $6,282,400. Another decrease to our fund balance of $267,100, with additional requests pending for $44,300, leaving our ending fund balance at $13,972,331. Are there any questions regarding the airport? Our next fund being our 654 refuse and recycling. For our fiscal year ending projected budget, we're looking at beginning fund balance is $6,431,332, revenue being $6,362,000, while expenditures being $8,204,600. Transfer from that fund balance, a decrease from that fund balance would be $1,842,600, leaving us with an ending fund balance of $4,588,732. Carrying that over to the next fiscal year, we will have revenue expected to be $6,778,000, expenditures being $8,072,200, with a transfer from fund balance of decreasing again of $1.2 million, with an additional request of $6,400. Our ending fund balance for the refuse and recycling projected next year will be $3,294,352. Are there any questions on our landfill?
Mr. Flavio, the refuse and recycling fund is also based in part on the contract.
Yes.
So is that up for renewal, I understand?
It is.
So it may impact these numbers.
Yes, ma'am. We're actually going to present a resolution on the 12th so that we can approve the negotiation of the contract.
And that's going to have substantial savings for us, right? And improved services?
Fingers crossed.
Thank you.
No, your increase of revenue is based on your new charges as far as rates.
Increase of revenue mostly came from just our projections from this current year, not with the new contract applied yet.
Okay.
Hey, Flavio, the revenue, I guess at the scale house, right, when you use the landfill, I know it's closed for a couple of days this week. But is that our revenue or is that platform's revenue? Like from the?
Scale house will be our revenue if I'm correct.
Greg?
A portion.
Right.
So, Mayor, Council, so this past couple of days when it was down, we still know the average of the platforms, trucks coming in. However, on what we charged to customers, right, residential, commercial, that wasn't being charged. It was just, it's a loss that we took.
But normally, like when we go and we pay, right, the person at the scale house, that's the city's money, right?
That's correct.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Greg. Moving on to our next fund will be our 655 municipal facilities. Now, we're on the process of moving out, again, Paul Polk from municipal facilities. Currently, this is what is to be budget after that move out. So our beginning fund balance for this fiscal year being 1.2 million. Revenue expected to be 551,100, with expenditures being 522,500. A increase to our fund balance of 28,600, leaving also an ending fund balance of 1,306,890 projected. Carrying that over to the next fiscal year, we will have revenues expected to be 309,600, with our expenditures being 523,200. Let's see.
That's it.
From there, it will be a decrease of fund balance for 213,600, with our ending fund balance being 1,093,290.
Mr. Flavio,
Yes.
However, this is also due to the fact that you're setting aside that PAWPO separate, right?
Yes.
That's why we also see this decrease.
From our projections, yes.
Okay.
This also reflects the fact that as this is a new division, municipal facilities, we are fine-tuning what it takes to run that fully for 100% for a full year. Right now, they are just scraping by because they simply are out of funding, and so this reflects what it takes for them.
Thank you, Ms. Burkhardt.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next fund will be our 656 wastewater. Our projected for this fiscal year beginning fund balance being $24,889,796. Our revenue projections for this year is $5,681,600, with our expenditures being $8,538,100. This will require a fund balance decrease of $2,856,500, with our ending fund balance now being $21,233,296. With that getting carried over to the next fiscal year, we expect our revenue projections for an increase to $8,180,000, with expenditures being $7,717,200, with a increase to our fund balance of $462,800, while also wastewater does have a significant amount of additional requests that we would like to be reviewed for $231,700.
This does not include debt service because we do not have a funding source as of yet. This does reflect the fees going up based on debt service that we plan on issuing, but first we have to find that funding source.
Thank you. Were there any questions on the wastewater? That'll be your enterprise funds. Next, we'll be moving over to your internal service funds. With the same goal as special revenue, our end year goal is to have a transfer from fund balance being zero. So in the revenue, you would have a transfer from the other funds to meet that. So our current projections for this fiscal year, we will have a beginning fund balance of $69,791, with revenue being $1,519,000, expenditures being $1,462,300, with a increase to fund balance of $56,700, leaving us with a ending fund balance of $126,491. We will carry that over to the next fiscal year with a revenue being a matching revenue and expenditure of $1.5 million, with a increase of transfer from fund balance of $3,000 and ending fund balance being $129,491. Those were your computer services. Next fund is the 762 fleet services. Our beginning fund balance for our projections this year is $530,040. Our revenue being $1,296,300,000. Our expenditures $1,171,400, with increase of fund balance of $124,900, which will help our ending fund balance that is in the negative. It would at least bring it to a negative $405,140. With this negative being carried over to next fiscal year, our revenues and expenditures being $1.3 million and a transfer from fund balance of $6,000 to our negative fund balance that will increase it to a negative $399,140. It is over.
If you'll note on
That
the
is the
first
number
two
that we need to
pages,
fix. So that's something that we're going, when we get to fleet services, we will have to discuss.
on this, on the second page, actually, of your bullets, at the front of your book, you had budget concerns. This is where we're referencing internal service funds. This is an internal service fund, but it has a negative balance. And so that's what we're referring to when we discuss our concerns.
And the same with the next one, the next fund.
Yes, our next fund being our facility maintenance. We are carrying a negative fund balance of $727,335. Expected revenue for this fiscal year is projected to be 1.1 million, with expenditures being 1.2 million. This will decrease from our fund balance. It would be a decrease of 104,300, leaving us with a negative fund balance of 831,635. Carrying over to the next fiscal year, with revenue and expenditures being 1,335,700, with a small increase of 2,000 from the fund balance.
You were missing the last page, and that's what Luis is passing out, so 764.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our last fund will be our 764 Health Claims Fund. Our beginning fund balance is 2,696,543, with expected revenue being 5,954,300. Our expenditures being 5,436,500, with a increase to fund balance of 507,800, leaving us with a increased fund balance of 3,214,343. Carrying that over to our next fiscal year, 25-26, we expect revenue to be 5,901,100, with expenditures increasing to 5,831,100, with a leaving us with an increase to fund balance of 70,000, leaving us with any fund balance of 3,284,343. And that was also our last bullet point on the health claims is regarding that with the employer portion.
If you'll notice that we are basically going to a higher deductible, as we discussed earlier, to $1,000. Employees will be taking on 5% of the healthcare cost, approximately $19 per paycheck. This is not the preferred route, but certainly we collected $5 million in revenue this year. We're anticipated to pay out in claims $4.99 million, and so we are approximately 17% behind the curve is what TML is telling us. And so we are anticipating having to change the deductible and change the cost share from 100% and employees pay 0 to a 5%.
Any questions from the dais? If not, go ahead, Clark.
Okay, moving on, we will have our next session being our department division breakout. It'll be your next pink tab.
Before Flavio gets started, as you are looking at these summaries of personnel, supplies, contractuals, please know that the only thing that has changed with regards to personnel is simply the health benefits, workers' comp, and Mario, if you can chime in, are there any other changes? Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you. Now, this worksheet is broken down, if I can explain the columns, is as very similar. That you start with the top left being city of Del Rio overall. Next column being 23, 24 actual expenses per audit, 24, 25 original budget, 24, 25 amended budget, and then 24, 25 our projections for this year. With a percentages of projection over original, and a next column being 25, 26 requested budget, a breakdown from what you saw in scenario 2 and the rest of the funds, and then the difference between the requested and original budget with a also percentage difference. So for tax collections, we're requesting, we have our request being 16,566,000. That doesn't include a 2% increase in our current tax collections, property tax.
A 2 cent.
2 cents, sorry, 2 cents.
2 cents. 2 cents. 2 cents.
2 cents.
2 cents.
2 pennies.
And again, it is a 2 cent increase, but we're defeasing 2.5 bonds. I mean, 2 full bonds and then a portion of the second bond.
Next line item was our fines and forfeitures. We are projecting next fiscal year to be 351,000. A decrease from your original budget of this fiscal year of 118,800. Fines and forfeiture collections have been decreasing over the last 2 or 3 years. Next item is our fees and services. We do expect an increase in that line item, so we are increasing to 691,200. Following that is our permits and licenses. We are expecting to meet more likely our projected amount and being requested budget for next year. We expect it to be 487,500. Mind you, this is a decrease from the original budget of 114,200 of last fiscal year, as those collections have been also not meeting that budgeted amount. Special grants also are expected to be pending to be received during the fiscal year. For now, we are at 696,800, and our miscellaneous revenue, our requested amount is 643,200. And last item is our transfers from other funds, decreasing from 11,563,300 to 7,794,200. Bulk of that being a transfer from the bridge for roughly 6 million. And then other funds will make up the rest of that 1.7.
Now, rather than go through line by line for the expenditures, we're going to go by totals for each division. If you have any questions regarding anything in particular, we do have it broken down, but it is not, the budget would have been 3 times the size. So do you have that where we can show them, the breakdown of each individual budget?
We can, but they don't have it printed.
No, I know that, but to show it on here, if they have any questions.
Sure, if they have any questions, we can pull it up.
Yeah. So again, you have the totals in front of you, personnel, supplies, contractual, if there's any capital assets that they're requesting, CIP, you're going to see these are in total. So example, city council, you'll have a total, a projected budget of 325,000, and then you're going to have the requested of 303, and then your difference, and then what percent. So if you want to go through these, give you a little bit of time to look at them, and if you have any questions, then we can go back and answer those.
I'll go over this first page first, and then we'll see if there's any questions, and then we'll go on to the next page. So starting with that is our city council. We project this year ending at $325,600 for expenditures, with a decrease in next year to $27,700, meaning our requested $303,900. Our city attorney, our expected expenditures being $465,200, with next year being $462,800. City manager is this projected fiscal year $922,200, next year decreasing to $813,100. Communications and marketing, $339,700, with next year being requested $251,400. Community services being $266,600, with a request of $260,700 next year. Operations and compliance, $123,500, with an increase to $134,100 next year. And city secretary, $342,100, with an increase to $357,200 next year. Are there any questions on those divisions?
Flavia, I have a question on the city council section. So this current fiscal year, estimated budget 325.6. And did I hear you right that next year the entire city council portion of the budget is 27.7, or is that just the difference?
That's just the difference.
Okay. Where do we get? So the 27.7 difference is not from the projected budget line, it's from the original budget line, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And so, for instance, the personnel, 40,100 to 24.3, where's that $16,000 coming from?
There's no personnel changes, so I believe the 40,000 was over budgeted.
Okay. That's what confused me, because I was like, we can't anticipate that someone's, not gonna have a delay with the runoff or anything next year, so.
I believe there was also, I'm not exactly sure of the scenario at the time, but I believe there's also a vote to increase the payout for each of the council meetings. And I think that's what that amended budget probably included.
Okay, that would have been more than, even if that charter amendment would have passed, that's still more than the increase would have been, so. All right, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions from the dais? Back, go ahead, Flavia.
All right, we'll move on to the next page. We have our municipal court projections being $658,100. We're leaving that as a good projection for our request for next year of $658,100. Projecting for development services being $542,400. Next year, we're looking to decrease that to $492,600. Our next department is the planning and zoning, is our projected for this year $313,700, with our requested budget increasing to $387,350. Following that is our public works, with a projected this fiscal year being $252,600, with a request to increase it to $490,500. Next department is our human resources, with $522,400 being inspected this year, with a requested budget of $518,700 next year. Next is our finance. Yes.
Could we go back? Just so we're clear, the assistant city engineer, it has been taken out in Public Works, and that's the substantial change.
Yes. For your personnel in Public Works. And also, there is a accounting difference as Greg and Roger's salary is being now funded 100% of the Public Works, with a transfer now occurring from the enterprise as part of those transfer allocations. So was that finance? Finance with a projected budget for 24-25 being 1,125,500. Next year, we're looking to decrease it to 1,002,800. Accounting projected budget for this year to end at 472,600, with a request next year to increase it by 500 to 577,800. As mentioned, that would include the unfrozen position now of the chief accountant. And then next is your purchasing department. Purchasing is projected to finish this year at 481,700, with a decrease to next year at 425,800. Most of that decrease coming from their capital outlay requests being removed. And next is our Parks Department with
Can we go back to purchasing? Just for purchasing, please note that this includes the fixed asset clerk as well.
That's correct. Next was our Parks Department. Parks is projected to end this year at 1,907,700, with a request to increase it to 1,976,300.
Mr. Flavio, I have a question on the parks.
Yes.
Due to the recent vandalism at our parks and the restrooms, and I just want to ask, is there an insurance, or are we insured at all on the parks?
Yes, we
We
are.
are, okay. So we hopefully will get something back for all that vandalism, and I hope they catch them. Where's our chief of police? Daunting task. But also, I wanted to ask, I know like the Park Service has those metal restrooms, and I know TxDOT has them at, some of their rest areas.
Yes.
Is it more expensive, a lot more expensive to invest in those instead of the ceramic ones that are so easily broken?
Yes, ma'am. So the short answer is yes, they're more expensive up front, but in the long run, they would be less expensive. So we've been trying to phase those in. But, so just for example, porcelain toilet, we're looking at just under $200. A stainless steel toilet is a little over $1,000. So we're currently working up a plan to bring back to Ms. Burkhart of phasing in all stainless steel fixtures. The cost is higher up front, but we have less downtime and less repairs.
In addition, we will have to bring back to you, once we receive any funding on the claim, we will have to bring that back to reappropriate as a revenue and as an expenditure so that we can spend that money toward the restrooms.
Yeah, for example, the Rotary Park restrooms, those were vandalized. They did attempt to damage the fixtures, but Rotary Park had donated stainless steel fixtures, so we didn't suffer any damage to the fixtures. So the vandals broke the PVC pipes instead, right? So we're doing a deep dive on how can we reduce the frequency of vandalism and the severity of the vandalism. Yes.
Are there any cameras or any type of other security out there? The park's closed at 10 o'clock, right?
There's currently no cameras, but we're working up a plan for that. Obviously, we can't put them inside the restrooms, but we're working up a security plan to be able to see the restrooms, and it won't be a live feed, but we'll be able to provide our PD evidence of who we think.
Thank you, and hopefully our citizens will be aware that there is a park curfew, and if they see suspicious behavior or people out there in the parks after those hours, after curfew hours, that they should call the police department and report it. And hopefully we can mitigate, have very minimal damage to our facilities. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Scott.
Excuse me, Scott, on these particular parks or restrooms that were vandalized, were the doors locked, or were they unlocked, or did they break the cages?
So most of the vandalism occurred while the park was open, so the doors are open.
So our Parks Department going out every night and closing those gates and
Yes.
doors?
Every night at 10 o'clock-ish, they go through and close all the facilities.
So
They're
these that
locked.
were vandalized, why were they not closed
It occurred during the day.
during the day?
Yes, so the Moore Park restroom damage occurred during a break between public swim and an evening swim. So the restroom was still open, and they broke in while the employees were taking a dinner break. The amphitheater restrooms were damaged shortly after opening. The San Felipe Creek restroom, or San Felipe Lions restrooms, middle of the day, about lunchtime. The Rotary Park happened shortly after opening, at 8 in the morning. And then they went back and hit the Hogan Park. Those restrooms were damaged a couple weeks ago. We had just finished those repairs the day before. They went back and broke them again. And that happened right before 6 o'clock in the evening.
And I believe they broke into UCO as well
Yeah.
and did some damage.
So it's occurring while the restrooms are open.
Is there a particular time that we open and close it? I mean, not like, Rotary's all day, I guess, because there's no events going on. But the ballparks, you know, they start games, I don't know, probably at 6. Do you
So
open them all day, or do you just go open them before the game starts?
So the ballpark restrooms are open, well, they're open and closed. So the newer bathrooms, we attempted to leave those open all day, but they got heavily vandalized. Now, those are stainless steel fixtures, so we didn't lose fixtures and stuff, but UCO Park, shortly after opening, they filled the commodes with dirt all the way to the top. We have people that put gravel and toilet paper down the commodes shortly after opening. So these are open for the public to use during their time at our parks, but we're trying to balance being open and subject to the vandalism that we've been having of late.
Because I know there used to be schedules when they're gonna open and be closed during events only. But if you leave them open all day, because, you know, you can leave them open, well,
Right.
this is gonna be happening. Because it hasn't been happening too much in the past at all. But if you're leaving them open all day, and not only the time of events, I can see where this is coming through, somebody just going in there and doing
Well,
damage.
yeah, we're just trying to keep them so when people go to the parks, they have a facility if they need it.
And I think you're coming out with a plan of action now that as soon as we remodel those or whatever we do with them, we'll probably have to plan
Yeah.
something.
We're gonna change our operations and our security processes to,
You know, one thing is that we can have them locked. These guys are wise guys, they're breaking in too, so they're not just going to the ones that are open. They're breaking into, UCO was shut down and they went in there. So
right.
once they get busted, hopefully go back to tranquility in our parks. But thank you, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or concerns?
Do we
everyone?
have bicycle patrol out there, Chief? They used to have patrol officers and bicycles patrol in the parks.
Chief, you're here.
Good afternoon, council, city manager.
Got another.
Morning, yeah. So on this, the one we're dealing with right now, we've just put some more social media out on it. We're getting, it looks like there's 2 individuals that have done most of the damage in the last couple of weeks. And we've got a lot of information. We got it last night. We're working on it. I don't want to make any promises, but I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't sewed up by the end of the day. from the information we're getting. And what's good about the community is they're good about helping us. So we're putting it out there. We don't know who this person is. We didn't. We've since then got first names. We've got locations. We've got where they hang out, what they're doing. So it's just a matter of time. So much so that they've already canceled all their stuff and they're taking everything off. They were actually posting videos of destroying the bathrooms. So they know we're on to them. They're chatting and they're saying they know that we're here. So we're hoping either they'll just turn themselves in. If not, we'll take care of it and we'll get them. But that should be a lot of it. So I know that they do putting dirt and things like that are just what happens on occasion. People, for some reason, think that's funny. This little stream that we're having that's taking out all the bathrooms, we think it's just 2 people. And they're just going, they're watching, and they're going in there, they're destroying and vandalizing quickly and getting out. And they're doing it during the day. We've increased our patrols for the last week. We've got people out there, and they're not seeing anything because it's not happening at night. They're doing this during the day. But like I said, God willing, this will be wrapped up today, would be my prediction.
The question
Any
was,
questions?
Chief, do you have any bike patrol on the parks?
We do not. We have
Used to be.
bicycles, but we don't have the manpower for bike patrols.
Because like Ms. Tina said, there was bike patrols before.
There was,
There were about 2 or 3 or 4 of them.
Maybe
keeping
it was
fit in
before I
bikes.
was here, but they've told me about it, that they, I think during COVID, they had some bike patrols, and before that, we've had bike patrols. But right now, it's just a manpower issue. As far as having enough people, we're lucky to have enough on patrol, more or less trying to do anything special.
Well, that'd be a good fitness program.
A
Put
fitness
them on
pro-
bike.
Yeah.
Be a good fitness program, have some on bikes every so often.
Yeah, and it's great. You know, the bike patrol does work, except for here, you know, it's so hot. But when it gets a little cooler, it's not bad. It's just, we don't have the manpower for it. We can't get fancy with anything. We have to just do normal patrols.
Okay.
And they still patrol the park.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yes, we patrolled it. We doubled
They
it.
don't walk it, but they have a car out there every once in a while.
Yeah, I
to
see the
check out.
cars.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you very
Welcome,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Just real quick, I want to reinforce what Chief was saying. Every time we've had a problem at a park and we've notified PD, they've been right on it, you know. The catching these guys is a direct result of our community coming forward and reporting it, giving us some tips. We've passed that on to PD, and they're already, you know, well on their way. So it's a good, you know, it's disappointing when we see our stuff get destroyed, but we do have those community members that are coming forward to help us catch, because they want nice stuff too, so.
Thank you, Scott.
One more question, Mr. Scott, probably for Lawson as well, Superintendent. A few weeks ago, or a week ago, there on Facebook, there was a lady complaining down in one of our parks, probably Hogan, I guess. Not vandalism, it's just the condition of the bathrooms.
Right.
And I don't know if we're going in there every day, or how often you all do cleanup and maintenance cleanup. Because, you know, after a ballpark game and everything, well, kids and women or whatever, man, you know, miss the bowl or throw paper on the floor. I don't know if you go after each game and go clean it up and disinfect it.
So we do have weekend personnel that are making rounds through the parks. One problem we're currently having is we've had some vacancies that had to be frozen.
Guys, we're in a budget, and I
Okay.
think it's,
Yes.
I think the
No, no,
questions,
well, I'm
Councilman
just saying
Lopez can proceed down the line, but I appreciate this.
Yes.
So we'll go ahead and continue with our budget.
You got it.
We're asking too many questions in regards
Well,
to.
he was talking that we're low in budget, so he can't get enough personnel,
Well,
so.
I think we're getting out of our topic completely. Let's go, sir.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Chief. Moving on from parks, our next page starts with our recreation department. For 24-25 projected budget, we expect this year to end at $275,300, with our requested budget for next year being $296,800. That'll be increase to expenses. The golf course this year is expected to be $829,500, we would decrease to 781,200. Our overall police department this year is projected to be 7,475,300. We would decrease to 7,126,600. Our Stone Garden grant looks like it's being completed this fiscal year. Operation Lone Star as well. Victims assistance, evidence technician, body worn cameras, violence against women, and BP vest partnerships are all just small grants that are expected to be completed this year or renewed next year. I do understand that right now the victims assistant and the evidence technician grants are being discontinued or being amended.
Chief?
Good morning, Council. Captain Robert Guzman, Del Rio Police Department. At this time, the Victims Assistance Grant and the Criminal Justice Grant, we have them on standby. We are waiting to see if they're going to be awarded or not. If they're not awarded, then we have two positions that will not be able to be funded. And that's where we're at right now.
I mean, when will we know? Because I think that's the key position out there for y'all.
There are two key positions, especially the Victims Assistant Grant, because that is our victims advocate, but we should be knowing in a couple of months whether or not the grant will be approved or not for funding.
And that cannot be budgeted within the police department, Mrs. Burkhardt?
Not at this time. We are currently right at 4.5 million short, and so we have left out that victims advocate role.
I have a question. However, this service, the victims advocate role is also available through the sheriff's department, and I believe, is it also the hospital?
They
I
have
know the police department has their own.
yes, I believe it's the family code, we are required to have one, as every law enforcement agency is required to have an advocate representative. We have one right now, and Sheriff's Office has one right now. The other thing is I believe Laughlin Air Force Base has one as well, but they're on a standby basis. And what we do is whenever the difference between our advocate and the Sheriff's Office advocate and the other ones is that ours serve the community and the surrounding area. Everybody else does not. So that's where the issues are, is that, we're able to service victims of family violence and sexual assault crimes throughout the area, up to Uvalde, Eagle Pass, and the surrounding areas.
Overall, how many cases do we handle?
I can tell you that our sexual assaults have increased significantly, and we've, in the last 3 weeks, we had a total, in a 2-week period, we actually had seven sexual assaults, and that's just in a 2-week period. But on top of that, I can't remember the numbers offhand right now, but I know that it's over 100 each year.
How much is the total for this individual?
I believe the program was slightly under 200. Is that correct?
Yeah, just look at that.
How much is it, Flavio?
We'll be looking at how much they spent as a budgeted. So personnel-wise, Operation Lone Star had a budget of 182,700, and victim assistant had 51,200. Evidence technician had 82,400. So it's the 82,400 and the 51,200.
82,000?
Yes, 82,400 and 51,200.
And so currently that's being provided through a grant?
That-
The
that
whole
is-
100% funding?
Yes, ma'am, for the victims assistance, yes, that is correct, and it just covers the salary. All we were asking for is the salary.
How much is the salary again?
82,000?
82,000?
With, I don't think it's with fringe and everything. What-
51,000.
Do you know what it is, Rocky?
51,000.
The victim's assistant, the personnel, the position is about 51,200. The one person, the evidence technician, the 82,400, that was for a one full-time and one part-time, so it would be just a portion of that to fund the one position.
Just a portion.
It would be around the same 51,000 cost.
As a
Did
matter of
I
fact,
hear you to say that it is required by law?
with our victims advocate, yes, we do have an entry in the family code, I believe, where it says that.
Okay.
So that's why we were trying to jump on it with the intention of later on is to make it a full-time position, a fully funded position within the city.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Ana.
Councilwoman Gutierrez, it is required by the Code of Criminal Procedure for the law enforcement agencies and the prosecutor's office to have somebody to assist victims, crime victims.
I guess I want to make a suggestion, see if we can find that 51,000 for it, at least for one person, right? And then we'll continue with I guess speaking to our state representative about our grant and see if we can bring that back to us so it'd be funded 100%. But
The way I see it, Mayor, if it's required by law, then we don't have a choice. We have to find
At least
some way to
one.
fund it until, first of all, apply for the grants, but then again, it's our responsibility to do that.
And typically, those positions are funded by like victims of violence against women and then the VOCA grants, and those have been severely cut by the new administration.
we can put there violence against women and men. Okay. There's no money for that, right? Just a suggestion, if it's possible. I think this is where the council kind of suggests something to y'all. We can't direct you to do it, but it's up to you guys to come up with it. Thank you. Go ahead, Flavio.
Moving on to the next page, we will start with our combined dispatch. This projected budget for this fiscal year is looking at 832,700, with our next year requested budget being 1,226,100. Next will be our police academy. Projected budget for this year is 129,100, with our requested budget being 122,400. Next department will be our emergency management, projected at 270,300, with a request next year to decrease it to 198,400. Next department is our fire department, projected this year to be 6,793,500, with next year being 5,957,300. Part of that decrease is mainly the debt service being completed for the fire department short-term financing, and a decrease in contract and different personnel being reassigned. Next department is our fire station airport. That is pretty just contractor services, leaving at 13,000. And also our fire station airport, 21,600 this year, with an increase to 23,900 next year.
Flavia, what's the difference between those two line items?
Fire station airport, let me see if I can break that down further. 1 second. It's just on books that they have different department codes. That's why it appeared twice. But they're for the same resource.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why they're not in a single line.
As in county, we will have to correct that in county-wise. It should be for the same resource.
Okay.
No, that fire truck that we have at the airport for special airplanes only, is that manned by the fire station, or is it certain personnel?
It'll be by our fire station. Right? Chief? Yes.
So the fire station is trained and trained to use the airport fire truck?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Our next department we'll be looking at is our neighborhood services. These are final budget amounts that will be split 50-50 for our code enforcement and health enforcement. Currently, we're projecting 483,100 for this year, and next year, we're requesting it to increase to 484,800. Next line item is our animal control. This year, we're projecting to be 683,900 with a decrease to 580,600 next year. And the last item on this sheet is our streets and drainage, projecting this year to be 1,770,700 with an increase in next year of 2,019,700 with a difference increase of 190,600 to the operations. Do you have any questions on this sheet? Thank you. Last page, we're looking at our traffic control department, which is projected to end the year at 699,600, with a requested budget being 722,000 next year. As mentioned in our highlights, we created a non-departmental fund within the general fund for our internal services, and that transfer from the non-departmental fund includes a transfer to IT services, fleet services, and facility maintenance. Also a contingency for the general fund and a contingency for a salary reserve. Total being 2,669,900. Next line item you have is the transfers to other funds. These transfers include transfer to transportation, to nutrition, to Paul to economic development and housing, and the capital improvement plan. Those transfers being 2,286,400 next year, increasing by 688,400. Are there any questions on those breakouts? The total expenses for the general fund projected this year to end is 32,931,700 with a decrease to fund balance of 1,291,791, with our request for next year budget being 34,029,450. Expense total with a decrease to fund balance of 6,646,550. Moving on to the next page, if there are no questions, we will start with our transportation department. Our transportation department. So for our next funds, I'll just be going over our totals from revenue and expenses. So our revenue total for this projected year is 1,480,834, with next year being projected at 1,539,200. Those are, and then our expense total for this fiscal year is projected to be 1,441,200, with our requested budget next year being 1,539,200. That's our transportation department. There's some additional sheets after the transportation department that Esme had provided that I don't have on here. I don't know if you want to go over those, Esme?
I'm sorry, we don't have it for media to display online. But the first sheet is in green ink there. And so that one is just an overall summary of our transportation department. Our revenues for fiscal year 2024 was $1,587,416. Of that, 62.7% was grant funded, 32.2% was out of local funds. So that could be our local match, our fares, and then 5.1% would be contract. And I broke down the different types of grants that we have. We have our 5311 formula grant, so that's for capital planning and operating assistance for our rural transit programs, which we fall under. The federal share for that one is 80% for capital projects and 50% match for operating and assistance. And if you go over to the next column there, it has our buses and facilities program, 5339A. And so Flavio had gone over some of the buses that we're moving over to the next fiscal year, because it takes about a year longer to get these buses in compliance, because we have to follow our ADA requirements, because we do have clients that are in wheelchairs and also in using walkers. And so that one, the cost share there, the federal share is 80% for the net of the capital project cost. And this one is a competitive grant. This is not an allocation like the other grant, the 5311, which is based on our demographics, our ridership, location. So the 5339 is competitive, so we have to justify why our program is eligible or could utilize these funds. TDC funds are transportation development credits, which are earned in the region when toll revenues are collected. And this one can count for our 20% match. So we're not using our general fund to supplement it. When eligible, we definitely apply for these. And we have 43,053 trips that we provided last year. And our trip destinations vary. 10% are employment, 20% nutrition purposes, 2% social, 2% retail, 2% education, 30% medical. And that would include local and to San Antonio. 27% is our fixed route, and 7% would be other. Other would be our passengers that have a, I just lost the word, a companion or somebody that needs to ride with them. So that falls under other. Our ridership is 67% seniors, 20% individuals with disabilities. Escorts, that's the word I was looking for. Escorts is 8% and 5% being youth. That would be 17 and under passengers. And something that we'll be applying for next year, next fiscal year, would be our 5310 account or budget is we have met the threshold for seniors and individuals with disabilities. So 5310 is a grant that is specific for that demographic. And then we have the 5-year average of revenue, expenses, and where we were over and under. And then we have the comparison for fiscal year 2025. The next one is just kind of a more detailed than this. And that one just breaks down our ridership a little bit more, and our revenues, our expenditures, and then it lists our fare structures and our services and hours of operation. If there's any other questions?
All I want is to make a comment. I have taken the ride in one of the vans.
Yes.
And it is awesome. Customer service is great. The drivers are really customer friendly. I disguised myself and got in one of the vans at Transportation Depot, and it was awesome. It was a great experience. I want to challenge the council to take a ride in one of those vans so that they can see it for themselves too. Because we get all the complaints and we get all the other ones, but it's time for us to get on one of them and ride around town, all the stops.
And we're looking forward to a new bus that we're getting in October. It's one that the council approved this last fiscal year. It's our Turtle Terra Top bus. It's going to be like the fanciest bus that we have. It's going to, the cushions on the seats are a lot more comfortable, so this is something that we can use when transporting our patients to and from San Antonio. There'll be the charging ports, so they can connect their electronic devices, their phones, and so every little feature that we could get, we put in that. And then there's also going to be a video, yes, so little monitors. So something that we can give back to our clients, and so they can have a more comfortable ride.
I was about to ask you, we did approve for some buses last year for transportation.
Yes.
Is it only one or two buses?
It's only going to be one, because the expenses of the buses are a lot more expensive. So we were only able to use those funds to purchase one, but the money that was left over from any of the grants, we were able to add the extra features on that large bus.
This is all grant money?
Yes, sir.
For the buses?
Yes.
So on service right now, how many buses we have in the service for this disability?
I'll have Rosie give you those specific details.
I mean, the new buses are great. I mean, it's not that I've taken them, but sometimes some other cities use them for convenience to take us to events, and they're real great buses.
Yes, we don't offer charter services through this grant because we don't have that specific grant allocation. So we can only provide medical or just the services that we offer currently.
So disability buses that go out of town, how many do we have?
That would be.
We have 14 buses here in town. We use the ProMasters to go to San Antonio if we have less than 8 people, but we do have the bigger buses that we can take up to 20 people, or 16 and 2 wheelchairs.
Okay.
And
So
we
you
have
have
3
enough
of those to go to San Antonio. We rotate them.
We rotate them?
Yes.
So you could say that most of our buses are disability friendly?
Yes,
And
they are.
available to go out of town?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have nothing in the shop right now?
We do. We have 2 around country. They're fixing the transmissions.
And those are still on warranty?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Esme?
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I have taken the transportation buses, and in a wheelchair, as well as my scooters, my little devices, assistive devices. I have to tell you, I commend the drivers. They are wonderful, helpful. They'll get down and help you get on the bus and help you load up and make sure you're secure and safe. And I know I have friends, my sister rides it frequently, as well as other friends that are a little older than I am. So I do commend the bus drivers. It's a great service. I wanted to ask you about, here it says that reservations must be made at least 1 day in advance. And I know you've had turnover and you all were asking for 2 weeks. Has that improved or changed in any way for the reservations?
Our ridership has increased, and so this one is our demographics for 2024. So in 2025, we are down 1 driver, so it is about 2 weeks in advance.
How long?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks at this time.
Yes.
And that would be also for the medical, for the out of town?
The out of town, we can do a day in advance, since
Okay.
we have the availability. But here in town, we have more ridership. So we tell them to, if they can, to do the reservation at least 13 days in advance. If we can accommodate them the day before, we would, or we'll give them an option.
Okay, so, but right now it's still running 2 weeks. And so I also have a question, because on the nutrition website, they all, no, but it has to do with transportation. It shows on there that they also can take individuals to medical appointments locally. Can they schedule it through you for rides to medical appointments?
Has to be with the transportation. I don't think
If the
we
budget
went
is
through it.
there, yes. Let me ask, because I think we're getting out of the deal. For the benefit of having both of you guys and the transportation depot is still a historical place, right? Are we applying for any additional grants or anything? Because we just finalized the last one on the capital improvements there. Is there any, have you all looked into any other funding for anything on that?
After we get the,
Putting a budget together, so.
so currently, we're waiting for the official historical designation. The application has been submitted, so we haven't actively looked for anything just yet until we get that accreditation.
And we continue with the finding grants for new buses and stuff like
Yes.
that, whatever's available, right?
Yes, and as I mentioned, we'll be applying for the 5310 because we now meet the criteria based on our ridership this year to be able to be eligible for that grant. But that doesn't open up until March, April of next year. So that if we're awarded those funds, that wouldn't be until September of 2025. But Rosie and I are actively looking for scholarships, different grants in communication with TxDOT to see what we are eligible for. We've also talked with Michael Garcia, our grants writer, and so just to keep an eye out for anything that we could use to fund the transportation program.
With the feds cutting a lot of programs through Medicaid, Medicare, how is that working right now? Are we going to
So we're
getting
trying.
funding, or is it completely shut down, or?
So right now, we don't have, if you look at your 5.1% contract for that, on the sheet there, we don't have Medicaid, and so Medicaid is not a grant, it's just a reimbursement. And so we currently do not have Medicaid as one of our providers. And so we are trying to get that, but we currently do not have that.
But we're applying for it.
We've been working
Keep
on that since
On
October.
a steady process there to get it back.
We call every week
Okay.
on Monday, so, yes.
Okay, that's a good funding there, if we can get it back into our budget.
And I would also like to note, across the state, the Medicaid ridership within the transportation department has decreased because you have some nursing homes or other providers that are also Medicaid contracts. So if a nursing home has that Medicaid contract, they're going to take their own patient. They're not going to call us for service. And so just like we're actively looking for grants and funding sources, other businesses are as well. So across the state, I can't give you the exact percentage, but the last training that we went to last month, they did go over what the overall picture across the state is. And a lot of people did report that their Medicaid ridership has decreased. So it's not just us.
Thank you.
Ms. Esme, the grant does not cover the drivers, right? It's just the,
Well, it does in the sense of operations and administration.
okay.
So
So it does help pay, or it fully funds?
It does
the
help pay.
salaries? Okay, help pay.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, but currently it is transportation. If you all are not able to provide for 2 weeks locally to a medical appointment, my question was, can the nutrition van provide
Good
that
afternoon.
service?
So for our transportation services, it's only for the clients that we provide services to,
Okay.
either our congregate or
That they're
home delivery.
registered with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Would
Yes.
they go through the city's transportation to coordinate with you, or they just contact you
No, they
directly?
just contact us. And some of our clients do use their transportation for like the
Yes.
out-of-town or other medical appointments.
Thank you so much, I appreciate that.
Find us some more funding. Any other questions for Esme? If not, you still have some more in the presentation?
Yep, that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Lobby?
Thank you, Esme. Thank you, Josie. Continue from the Transportation Department. Our special, next page would be our WIC Department.
Y'all want to take a break?
Projected,
Yeah.
Can we take a 10-minute break?
of course.
We'll go ahead and take a 10-minute break.
the USB Type C, do you know? Type C?
It's 12:10 and this council has come back from recess. Flavio's going to do two presentations because of cutting of time and because we haven't really reviewed this whole book. Flavio's going to start with capital assets, and then which other one are you going to do?
Additional requests.
Okay, go ahead. Flavio.
So on your binder, you should have a tab there for capital outlay. These items have already been presented to you in the past. We just want to make sure that they're here in our budget book and being presented. The items in peach are the ones that have been approved for budget. And if you scroll down to the third page, you have a breakout of the different funds and how much is being for each of the capital asset groups. Essentially, general fund. Next year, we're looking at 192,500. Special revenue fund, 410,623. Enterprise fund, 271,700, and internal service fund, 104,700. All this are now breaking up to each of their funds instead of being conglomerated into the 780 fund. If you have any questions on capital outlay? Okay, thank you. We're gonna move on.
We might have some questions later on all this.
Of course, all this is to digest. Our next item I would like to go over before we wrap up is the additional requests that were brought up during the fund balances. There are different items requested from our department during our workshop meetings that we want to be sure council recognizes that we are looking to get for the different department divisions. I know there's kind of a breakdown.
Flavio, yeah.
Sorry, yes.
What's up on the screen? Where's that in our book?
Yes, so that will be in the front of your general fund. Sorry about that.
First page.
First page.
Okay, there it is. Thank you.
So these additional requests, behind the general fund section is all the backup and support going to these additional requests, including travel and training. That was done during the workshop meetings.
Yeah.
But if we can just go over them right now, kind of look over the first 2 pages of the list. If you have any questions for the department divisions, they're here now to address why they might need some of these items.
Now, are some of these items, are these items that are encumbered, or these are projected from last year's budget to this year's budget now, these additionals?
These are all additions for next year's budget. None of them are encumbered, and they're haven't been part of our revenue, not part of the operations of the department division revenue expenses. All these are additional.
Okay, so like last year's budget, and then their projected budget for this year. So are these additionals from last year's additionals for this year?
No, these are separate additionals, just additionals
separate from
for
last year's
next
budget.
fiscal year.
Okay, so if somebody wants a truck, and we said no last year, but then we budgeted for this year, this is not the addition?
No, these are separate from your capital assets. They're separate from your CIP plan. These are part of their operations and expenditures. And they're separate from prior years, as in these are never been budgeted for.
So these replacements.
Some of them are replacements, some of them are one-time expenses.
Okay, thank you.
This is what's needed to have this is what is called a performance budget, because they're asking for these things so that they can increase their performance for their operations. That's what these are. This is not anything that you've budgeted before. This is something that they're requesting so that they can get a higher performance within their department.
And each department head here requested all of this equipment additional to their department for performance and quality of service.
This is so that they can do operating at 100%. In the past, your budgets have not been at 100%. They've been operating because they've been told to cut the budget.
Correct.
So you've been the departments are technically underperforming. These are the requests that they're asking for so that they can get to 100% performance.
Now, based on their requests, do you see the budget, available money for this additionals?
That is what the additional amount is in the budgets that we just gave you.
Right.
That's what those totals total. So this here is what you have to go through to see if there's anything in here that you don't agree with. The backup as to why they want it is right here.
Correct.
So all of it, all the backup to all of these things, you've got attached in the budget
Okay,
document.
but my question is,
Same thing with your fixed assets, the same thing with your capital improvement,
Correct.
and the same thing with your training and education. So technically, what we've done is made it very transparent that you can see what they are spending for every item in order for them to have a 100% performance budget.
but based on your budget, right now, as our budget and you working on the audit and everything, do you see that we might have enough money for this additional request of them?
That's what has already been given you
Yep.
in these sheets right here.
Okay. So if there's money, we can go ahead and approve this
That's what the additional requests are.
additions.
So we need to know whether or not we need to take those out or put them in the budget.
If you're asking for an opinion, we do not have enough to sustain a $4.5 million deficit this year coming out of reserves and then rolling the same type deficit into next year. So the answer would be no.
No. Now can we find some additional money like grants or something for any particular departments? Budgeted everything you can find.
But all this are needs for their,
That's where you asked your department divisions of explaining some of these items more directly, but my understanding is, yes, they are needs.
And typically in a budget, when the cities have shortfalls, they have to look at these things. They have to look at travel and education. They have to look at capital assets because the decision has to be made, is it really needed? And if it's not really needed to sustain that department for that fiscal year, council can cut it. It's up to the council to give direction to the city as to how they want to maintain the fund balance that they are envisioning.
Now, are these
Right
some,
now, you have a 5-month policy.
are some of these priorities as far as for services or we just don't have the equipment, but we do need it for priorities, services? You know what I mean? Just to service any kind of service that any department gives. Some of these might be priorities because they need them now.
I'll speak on yours.
Well, I guess we're not speaking on a particular line item, but I guess in general, maybe speaking for all of us here, is that we went through a tedious job, right, in making sure that we had what was necessary to operate.
Correct.
At 100%. Some of these line items that you see here are integral and are very important for day-to-day function operations, whether it be lift stations, whether it be minor hand tools. So are they set as priorities? I wouldn't consider them as priorities. I would consider them as daily needs for operations.
Correct. No, because if they don't have it or never did have it, and now something additional, because now we're giving additional service, additional equipments, the
You could
size
say
of the
that some
boat
could be,
changed.
because some could be additional, that if the department has expanded to some extent. However, this is just to, like she just said, operation-wise.
Correct.
So we can function at 100%.
let me
Okay.
ask, are you done, Councilman?
Yes,
Lopez?
yes, go ahead.
On this first one, you said upgrade veterans lights. Is that a Veterans Boulevard? You're gonna put new lightings or?
So, as per TxDOT, I think that'll be part of the MMA, but it's always been a requirement for us to have certain lights, I think 2 blocks in at every intersection for them to be LED. And that's the upgrades for that.
Overall, on all these requests, what's the total on the whole thing? Let's say, for the benefit of the council, how much is the total on everything? Do you have an idea, Roxy?
He said
I don't have a total, I did separate by the fund.
Now, this is not budgeted yet, right?
No.
No, but you can
It's
see
the
those
additional
funds
request.
in
It's
the.
not in their budgets yet.
You can see the amount in the fund balance worksheets. as additional requests.
Yeah, that's a number in here that we had to go reprint it, the additional request.
So for example, the general fund is 62,700.
How much?
For the general fund, it's 62,700,
If you go
correct,
back
Flavia?
to your sheets, it'll
Right.
show you on here with the additional request.
This whole list is probably 225 to 250.
And we don't have a number for the contract attorney because we were not given one on the sheet. There was not a number.
Contract code?
On contract attorney.
This is not the one.
That's why there's not a dollar figure on there.
That's not this list. It's a different list.
Are y'all reviewing it? Do you wanna, you have any questions and
So many
doubts on any of this stuff? I mean, it's 225,000. And it's all needed, cause I don't see any luxuries. I see needs.
And that's what we were explaining, is this is need to continue operations. It is not anything luxury, it is not anything over. Again, it's to maintain that 100% operation, which you haven't had. That's been the problem.
Now, if this council gives you a thumbs up to go ahead and proceed on it, you all find a way to put it.
We're gonna, once, if you say go ahead, if it's unanimous, go ahead and put these additions into their budgets, we will go back and do that and give you the new numbers on Monday. We will also have code and health broken up, and by then we can go ahead and get, and hopefully, I don't know about debt, because again, we're waiting for Texas Water Development Board, but then we can also separate the operations and administration for the three departments, the water, water, wastewater, and gas.
And the total for the city of Del Rio is 493,200 with
Yeah.
all these items.
I was just gonna say, I only had one of the two pages in my book.
I'm sorry for that.
So
There's-
that's why I said 225 to 250,
more or
is the
less.
one page I had. So,
If you
You only
could
have one page
please
also?
reprint, when you're doing these reprints,
he only has, no,
if you could
he has a
please,
different page.
if you could please reprint general fund, capital listing. It's 2 pages, and not everybody got 2 pages in their
Okay.
book.
It should be 3 pages, yes.
3 pages?
Yeah, it
Three.
should be 3.
We only got 2.
Okay,
So please reprint.
yes.
I think the only thing I really have it's on the furniture for the Southern Depot.
Yes.
And then there's tile ceiling panels. And then the other one is landscaping
Yeah.
supplies of
That's what I
13,500.
had.
What did we put in there?
Right?
Rock or what, or
I guess so. I'm not sure what happened.
Flavio?
Yes, sir.
On this, I don't know who's in charge of this one, but on the furniture remodels for Southern Depot and tile ceiling panels, and then landscaping for 13,500.
That'll be our transportation department.
What are you doing there, Mija? Because that's, and I can see the furniture
I
and the
think
tile.
some of the tile was damaged when they took the wires down.
The
But
furniture,
13,500 for
Oh,
landscaping.
I don't know how much it is, but
the furniture that
Mia.
we need, it's for the dispatch area. The one that we had before, they were together with panels. So that it was, because it was in the middle and we had a wall in the middle, everything is gone. So we're gonna need individual desks to be on each side of the dispatch area.
And that's your furniture.
That's the furniture.
What about the landscaping?
The landscaping, we were trying to do it before the ribbon cutting. We wanted to put rocks all over the transportation depot, all around. And that's the amount we came up to. We can also, we can get another quote from another cities, maybe Eagle Pass, maybe San Antonio, because we only got it from here. Since we wanted to do it before the ribbon cutting.
can you ask Tex Dot to see if they can provide you some of the supplies? Since it's their building, ask them to see if they can help us out on that.
I can get with my PTC and
Because
ask
they put
him.
the money to redo everything, maybe they'll give you a little bit more just to do a little landscaping around there.
I'll get back to you on that information, sir, yes.
Yeah. Now, as far as to the panels, the tile, was
The
some of them
panels,
damaged because of the
We
remodeling?
wanted to do that before the ribbon cutting, so we asked, we borrowed them from the Civic Center. There were like 56 panels.
They were damaged when the repairs,
Not with the repairs, but they were damaged with water.
water damage?
If you would say what, on those four things that you put into play, which would be the most important to you?
Furniture.
Landscaping or ceiling tiles, furniture, and cleaning supplies?
Furniture.
Huh?
Furniture.
And the cleaning supplies? for
The
floor?
cleaning supplies, we got the cleaning supplies already because we wanted to do the floors before also the ribbon cutting. We did the foyer, and after that, a couple of weeks ago, they came back and finished the dispatch area and the consul's office area.
I mean, I love the idea of landscaping right now with rock would be nice because you don't have to worry about watering the grass or doing anything.
That's what I chose, the
But
rocks.
we're in a budget crunches, and until we see the avenues of other money coming in, then we can probably go up and, I know the parks do a great job on going out there, you know, cleaning it up and making sure
They
it
did, they
looks
did an awesome
nice.
job, yes.
Maybe we can reach out to somebody to donating it to us. Has everybody gone through all of them, and do you have any questions, any concerns on any of this? No?
I have a question, Mayor.
No.
You wanna wait on it?
Yeah, we're gonna wait on it.
Okay.
Gotta review it.
I mean, I only got one page.
Thank you.
Because they just wanted directors, more or less, and then they'll cut it down, and they'll keep coming back, right, Flavio? You just want to make sure that we kind of give you some ideas on this, if it was things
Yes,
to go
sir,
ahead?
that's, we would like some direction for we can represent these figures and include them in our budget.
Go ahead,
Yes, I
Councilwoman.
have a question. I was looking at, I don't have that page, so I'm not exactly sure where it's on, but going through the individual requests from the different departments, this one's marked traffic. Is it on here? Traffic. And it says, it reads, flasher quote to put reflective buttons on Bedell, Kingsway, Amistan de la Rosa. Great. 5354, 5,354. The quote is on here, but it just shows a delivery charge, so I'm not sure that the service to place the reflective markers is on here. Is this labor and parts, supplies? I didn't think so.
That's a good question. We're going to do that in-house on placing those reflective buttons.
Okay, because it reads, flasher quote to put reflective buttons.
That was
But
just the
on the
subject title.
work order, it actually, from the quote, from Flasher Equipment, it's just the supplies. Right? 5,354. And he's asking for 5,354. So unless there's another performance budget item
ma'am.
request for the service.
No, it's just that, for us to, we'll install them.
You'll need,
all
you'll
of the
need
pages
both.
still.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Okay.
I understand that, but the item that Carmen just brought up is not on, so I don't even know what you're talking about, because I don't have all of the pages, so.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
This one?
She's making copies right now.
Is there two line items?
And they're not page numbered, so I can't tell you, look at the phone.
Exactly.
But the quote shows that it's just for the markers. So I was looking for one that said the actual service, but the performance budget says flasher quote to put the reflective buttons, but the work order is actually just for the reflective markers.
So you do have the work orders, you just don't have. it
For
first.
the reflective markers, the purchase of them. We still need the service, right? Am I correct?
Doing it
Yeah.
in-house.
Yeah, but we're going to,
Oh, you're
do
getting-
in-house.
You're gonna do it in-house?
Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
But
So
you're
that's what I was
still
saying.
gonna need the epoxy adhesive? Or what are they gonna use, the 5N Bundy pad?
I think we've used enough the epoxy adhesive, but what do we use for that, Gilbert? Tar or? Yeah, it's an
Just
epoxy
special
adhesive.
adhesive.
Yeah.
that's required for that.
Some of this stuff you can.
If I may,
Like, do you have the backup?
normally whenever they are going to buy the items, they'll be in a certain account. And if it's going to be a service, we don't ask them to separate the supplies and the service. So you'll see that together. If you see something that's only for supplies, then that is going to be done in-house or it's going to be used in-house. If it's a service, then that includes the supplies that will be used for the service. So you won't see them as separate line items.
Okay, and I get that. Thank you, Mr. Luis. However, it does say that the quote is to put. In other words, for flasher equipment to place the reflective markers, or they call them buttons here, but that's not what it is. It's actually for the supplies.
Yes, ma'am.
And another thing, and I mentioned this before, I don't know that that's what you mean, that if it doesn't say service, it's automatically gonna be done in-house. So I think a little notation, you know, that it's gonna, this is just for the materials because the labor is gonna be furnished in-house.
Yes, ma'am, we'll take that feedback
We'll take.
and apply it.
Updated. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Did everybody get page 1 and page 2
Mhm.
from the console? You get to review it.
You have to get back with them.
I think we'll go ahead and call it quits, and then come back on Tuesday, and maybe we can go ahead and review.
What time on Tuesday?
6:30.
Normal time. Okay.
And then we can review this also. and
Give us a chance to.
At this point, Flavio, just keep this open till we get back on Tuesday, and we'll start off with this.
Take that picture.
Okay, it is 12:31, and this meeting is adjourned.
Right here. Got these 2 pages. I thought those were.